My husband lied about literally everything for no reason at all. So I started making all his lies come true until no one believes him anymore. I knew Blake stretched the truth sometimes when we were dating, but I thought it was just him trying to impress me, like when he said he'd climbed Mount Everest but meant he'd done a difficult hiking trail, or when he said he spoke 5 languages but really just knew restaurant phrases. After we got married though, I realized Blake didn't stretch the truth. He completely ignored it. He lied about everything constantly for no reason at all. If he had eggs for breakfast, he'd tell me he had pancakes. If he took the highway home, he'd say he took back roads. If it was 70 degrees outside, he'd claim it was 85. These weren't lies that benefited him or hurt anyone. They were just automatic responses that were always false. At first I thought maybe I was misremembering things, but then I started paying attention and realized Blake literally never told the truth about anything. I asked him once why he said he'd gone to the gym when his gym bag was still in the car completely dry, and he said I must have seen wrong. He'd lie about what show we watched the night before, what color shirt he wore yesterday, whether he'd fed the dog. Everything that came out of his mouth was false, even when the truth would have been easier. The lying got worse when it came to work and money. Blake told everyone he was a senior analyst at his company when he was really entry-level support. He said he got a huge raise that never appeared in our bank account. He claimed his boss personally requested him for a special project that didn't exist. When his coworkers came to our house for dinner, they looked confused when he talked about meetings he wasn't in and decisions he didn't make. They stopped coming over after that. The financial lies were the worst part. He'd say he paid the electric bill, then I'd get a shut-off notice. He'd claim he deposited his bonus when there was no bonus. He'd tell me he got cash back at the store, then have no cash. When I'd confront him with evidence, he'd lie about lying, saying I was confused or forgetful. He actually told our friends I was having memory problems to cover for his constant lies. The breaking point was when Blake told everyone at his company holiday party that we were buying a vacation home in Colorado. His boss congratulated us and asked about the area. His coworkers wanted to know if they could visit. Blake spent an hour describing this fictional cabin with a hot tub and mountain views that we'd supposedly bought cash. I stood there speechless while he created this elaborate fantasy. When we got home, I asked what he was thinking, and he said it wasn't a big deal, and everyone exaggerates sometimes. That's when I decided if Blake wanted to live in a world of lies, I'd make that world real. First, I started with the small stuff. When Blake lied about going to the gym, I'd cancel his membership, so when he actually tried to go, his card wouldn't work. When he lied about what he ate for lunch, I'd pack him exactly what he claimed he'd eaten the next day. When he said he'd called his mother, I'd call her myself and say Blake told me he'd spoken to her about visiting, forcing him into plans he'd lied about making. Then I escalated to his work lies. When Blake claimed he was leading a new project, I emailed his boss thanking him for giving Blake this opportunity and asking about project details. His boss was confused and wanted to know why Blake thought he was project lead. When Blake said he'd been promoted, I called the office to update his business cards with his new fake title. HR got involved asking about unauthorized title changes. Every lie Blake told at work, I'd innocently confirm with someone, making him look delusional. The vacation home lie became my masterpiece. I contacted a real estate agent in Colorado saying my husband had fallen in love with a property during our recent trip and wanted to make an offer. I gave her Blake's work email and phone number. She started sending him contracts and calling during meetings about the fictional cabin he'd described. His coworkers overheard these calls and got excited about his new purchase. Blake couldn't admit he'd lied, so he had to keep playing along. The agent was persistent, calling his boss when Blake didn't respond, saying she understood he was busy but needed to move quickly on the property Blake was so passionate about. His boss started asking why Blake was house shopping during work hours if he couldn't afford to actually buy. Blake tried telling people the agent was confused, but everyone had heard his detailed description at the party. He eventually had to admit to his entire office that he'd made up the vacation home, destroying his credibility completely. But I wasn't done with the financial lies. The culmination was when Blake told his parents we were expecting a baby. Full story on channel, link below.